Hello and welcome to the DFS underscore PhD show for today, the 21st of November. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us, but it was kind of a lot of us. So first of all, I did pretty well, top 20 in the main yesterday, but I made a swap mistake, and 66 of you did too. So if this lineup looks familiar to you, you might want to take a step through this contest review with me that I did, because this was an intentional decision. Whenever you have the last piece, in this case it was Cat, of a lineup that's gonna like have a 1 to 2% chance of winning, a decent chance of winning, you need to make that choice yourself like very carefully. You need to know what you did and why. So this was a Cat versus Brunson choice for me. Those were the two that could have gone there. SaberSim recommended I change to Brunson, and I was like, I saw it. I had seen it as Cat. I know Cat has a higher average, probably higher floor, and I just couldn't do it because leaving Brunson left $500 on the table, but that didn't really matter to me. I understood that would get me more unique, but I don't need to be unique. This is a classic slate with a lot of games, right? Wrong. As soon as we got all of that value, right? As soon as we knew everyone was jamming Porter Jr., everyone was jamming Tyson, everyone was jamming Jerome, everyone was, I mean, even Reeves was like 15%. Nobody on my team single digits. Nobody on this team was differentiating. And as a result, in that big, big, big lottery style competition, the contest sim knew I had 66 dupes. I didn't know. I mean, like I was sitting there. I mean, I like Reeves is 15%, Tyson 15%. But if you're going to get a lot of similar builds on a day like that, where you had very, very strict values. So I went with Towns when if I had just left 500 on the table and gone with Brunson, I would have been unique. And not only would I have been unique, Brunson outscored him by five. So I would have won $2,000 instead of 234. So it's one of those where, yay, someone has to win that money. Might as well be. I outsmarted myself. Don't outsmart yourself. Listen to your software and think about, hey, why would it be telling me to do this? Double check your number of dupes. Even if it's on a slate where there shouldn't normally be dupes. Like this wasn't a consideration. I did not expect to see 66 dupes for my classic lineup last night. This was not that like I didn't know. I didn't think it was that obvious. So, but I'm glad a lot of you are watching the show that it's suspiciously similar to our views. Thank you for joining us and liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Things I'm supposed to say that I never do because I don't really care that much about growing the channel. I'm just having fun. That was a really fun slate. I have some takes for today. You should join the Discord if you're not already. But let's get into the takes for today. We'll start with football, and then we'll get into basketball afterward. I don't think, I guess I should check the NBA news, see if we got any news since I've been sitting here building for kind of a while. By the way, I've been getting a little carpal tunnel cramps, so that's always fun. Probably chill out here with how hard I'm pressing on the table. Not seeing anything. Okay, so got recommended to follow calling our shot. That's funny. Good job, everyone. Good job. That's what you're doing to the algorithm, everyone. Making fun of this little guy. What is he, like 25 years old? Obviously, he doesn't know anything. Anyway, not going to make fun of this dumb guy who's losing money gambling and making other people lose money gambling. That's not what we do. We try to teach you how to be better, right? To give you to do things that are give you a greater chance of success. So, for instance, today I did have up this target. Yeah, let me step through our discussion of the backfield. So we've got Jerome Ford. Every week he's been active, has gotten more snaps than Nick Chubb. So that's what we got to deal with here. That's not what anybody's projecting today. Everybody's projecting Nick Chubb get more snaps than Jerome Ford. As far as I can tell, it's based on nothing. So let me double check. Like, is there like a coach speak thing? I love coach speak. Do you have any coach speak on Chubb that I'm like missing? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna run Chubb nuts this week. You know, we love Chubb. Ah, ah, we got new quotes on. Okay, hold on. I might need to check in on something. Okay. Steelers likes to ride Najee Harris when the weather's nasty. Oh, that's fun from the spring. Good job. We don't have that about Chubb. When will we see the whole Chubb? Possibility of oh right. No, this is too long ago. but they say they got something on Chubb. I'm not in his Discord. Anyway, I think that his low snap count just continues until I hear otherwise, and I haven't heard otherwise. So possibly I mean, possibly you guys are all hearing otherwise. But for me, Jerome Ford's a better back, and he's the pass catching back. So even if whatever, I'm not going to look up the scuttlebutt. What I am because what I know is the targets, right? Here's Nick Chubb's targets, 6. Here's Jerome Ford's targets, 30. He's the guy. He's the pass catching back. So in the case, number one, that's my rule this week. Max one Cleveland running back, and that's my whole thing. I don't need another thing. I got one take. It's a strong take. So my other, okay, I got two things. Under, I'm taking the under, and I moved both teams to 3 points under because it seems like number one, seems like a gross game. Number two, seem like bad teams. Don't seem like who's going to score points. I looked at the rosters, and I thought I don't think any of these guys will score points. I think if the best option for either team is Najee Harris running 20 times for 3 yards, it's going to be gross. It's going to be really gross. So anyway, I expect a really gross football game today. It's going to look gross. It's going to play gross. So anyway, be ready for gross football. So yes, our top two own plays, Najee Harris, Jerome Ford. These are who you expect in gross. How much Steelers are we getting? 1% Steelers, 0.5% Browns. I am running a lot in the mini. How much? I just want to make sure I have plenty of defenses. Browns and Steelers, 15, 13. Sounds great. I did leave the quarterbacks and the captain. Quarterbacks are very unknown, so I assume there's some of my top plays still, even though the low scoring game script. Yep, Winston, 6%. Russ Bus, 3%. But there's seven. I mean, the 12% thing averages the good weather games and the bad weather games and the good teams and the bad teams, right? So if you wanted to, I'm not going to talk you off these guys, but at this point in their career, they're also not really running that much. So I'd rather you get to Njoku, Pickens, Warren, Tillman, upside. These guys all have way more upside. One catch, right? In a game that's gross, like this one is going to be, one catch is the whole game. None of the rest of the game will matter. If one guy makes that one catch, that's the guy. So that's what my captain looks like. Is it Najee Harris that breaks one, or Jerome Ford that breaks that little catch? Now, I don't think it's as likely that Chubb breaks one because I just don't think his opportunity is going to be there relative to where the field does. So did I change that? Yeah, I think I changed Chubb to be lower, or is it? Let me check. Adjusted. Nope, I stuck with his SaberSim projection and I just raised Ford to higher. So you can do what you want. For me, that's just reflects their snap counts better and the game script better. They're expected to be playing from behind. I don't get it. I don't understand why Chubb is projected to be the back. He's not the back for that. Even if he was full go, which we don't know, it doesn't seem like he is. So I don't know. I mean, if you want to take this play to Crazy Town, which I'm not going to, you could boost Pierre Strong. He's $400. He's been getting a significant number of snaps. And he's the other guy who sees targets, three targets to Chubb's zero, three and three, 1 and 2. I mean, he can see targets. So that's good in PPR. That's all I'm trying to say. He's also seeing snaps. I mean, he's seeing snaps with Chubb there every single week. Every single week, Chubb and Pierre Strong have been active. It looks like, to me, Pierre Strong has seen at least 10% of snaps. 7 snaps today for a guy who's $400. We're projecting him pretty low. I mean, we're projecting him pretty low for 7 snaps. And the guy who could, like, definitely in those 7 snaps, you'd expect to see him running 3 routes, 2 runs. I think Pierre Strong's a little light today for this projection. Yeah, just go 1.5. Go a little nuts. Make him one of the better value plays, completely unowned. If you want to do that, I do want to do that. So I'm going to rerun this later. These other guys are fine. I left a lot of them in the pool because they get snaps a little bit, and they're always the fun ones by the goal line. But I can't say anything more about any of these guys. Don't care about them. What are the fades? What are my biggest fades? I just want to move on to basketball. Pretty much bored of this. There's the leverage column. I don't know why it randomly reorders these columns. I don't like it. It's boring. I know I've told you my highest leverage. Yep, fading Chubb. Yeah, and the residual plays from what I already told you I'm doing. Okay. No surprises. So on to basketball, where we almost banked yesterday. Listen to SaberSim. If you're paying for SaberSim, listen to SaberSim, especially when you're running those beautiful swaps because it's doing a lot of swapping. Okay, no, we're not going to do 100% Brandon Miller. I know you think that money is good, but that he's okay. I do. So, okay, we got 4 games. It's not that many games. And it's going to be a close one. Charlotte and Detroit being a close one is rare for both teams. So you got to extend the guys who are the players of import for their teams. However, I'm not going to be more than 30% Brandon Miller on the LaMelo Ball principle. LaMelo Ball is there. No, let's go. But it's a small slate, and he's underpriced clearly for his opportunity, but he can really stink it up. I mean, he's a shooter. 15 is normally my cap for shooters. 30 is already being generous. I don't think that his optimal is more than 30. Stephen Castle, same thing. Yeah, no, he's going to be out there infinity minutes. You can go up to 65 on Castle. John Collins, again, I'm 65 on John Collins. People are just, I don't know. What are people doing? Do people think this is an outlier with, I don't get it. I don't know what to do when people do stuff like this where they just don't give a guy credit for just smashing and smashing and smashing. He's smashing. He's smashing. Every single game he's smashing. I mean, didn't they get blown out by the Lakers against Utah? I mean, come on, show me the game I'm talking about. Let's just like randomly scroll to some game. No, they didn't get blown out. I'm not sure quite what was going on with John Collins' minutes in that game. I mean, he's going against AD, so presumably foul trouble or whatever, but he is getting a ton of work when he's out there at the 5 with Kessler out. So I'm going to have a ton of him today. I'm going to have a ton of Bassey backing up Collins. Collins is in this build. I'm pretty sure he's already been ruled actively in. He was questionable earlier. Yeah, he's fine. He's in this build too. We're not going to have that much Bassey. He's probably 35, seems probably a little hot for backup center. I'll go with 30. He's good. He's good. I just don't know. Is he going to get 20? I mean, 20 minutes is probably fine. Yeah, you know what? We're not going to limit Bassey. He was great last slate. Anytime he gets minutes, you shouldn't play with Bassey. You should have some. 65%, sure. He's great. I mean, like at 4K today on this size slate, who else is going to get those minutes? Yeah. I mean, Collier's real speculative. I like that speculation. I've done that speculation a lot, but that's speculative. And everybody else up here is not speculative. So these are all good plays. Where do we get to where I start feeling speculative? I did Tobias Harris boost. What else do I have here? I got max 2 Utah guards. I didn't change them though. I got my Minnesota Bigs rule. I boosted all the Minnesota Bigs like I normally do. Hurdle is being under projected by about 2.5, 3 minutes. Ant-Man and Cade, I just feel like, yeah, up at the top, I made sure to have LaMelo and then AD and then Cade, LeBron, Franz about the same level. And then that's the level where Ant-Man belongs as well. And then there's a gap, and then there's like Randall and Pirtle. Yeah, it's Randall and Pirtle together, I think. Yeah, I have Pirtle a little below Randall. I think it's a minutes thing. Yeah, I'm fine with that. They're just going to ride Pirtle more. If Scotty Barnes is in, I expect these numbers to go up for him and down for Barrett. Um, but for now, we're not projecting. I am projecting him coming back from injury slowly, even though he might still have some amount of cardio since he only got hit in the face. And remember, that was an orbital fracture, right? I forget if I feel like I called that when they were saying it was a concussion during the game, and I was like, "You'll see this. It's going to be an orbital fracture," because he was like holding his face, and it took a long time for him to come back, like weeks. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to wait and see on playing him because of what I presume will be a full face mask. Although he hasn't been wearing one on the sidelines. I've been enjoying I love the way Scotty dresses. Okay, Drew Eubanks, that's clever. Yeah, I love that. So this game, Utah and the Spurs is just interesting because they're bad and all the good players are out. But no, I don't have anything else to say. Who am I fading? You know who I'm playing. Who am I fading implicitly? Keldon Johnson, not even in the player pool, just a mid play today. LeBron is fine. You can play him if you want. Probably not going to be a full fade by the time we go live. Same with AD. Those are just like okay. I'm not fading them on purpose. Collins, I don't know. Yeah, I'm fine with being a little underweight on Collins. Uh, excuse me. Harrison Barnes is just a boring play again. Can't go there. Branham, boring play. Yep, fine with all these. You see almost all these guys are out of my player pool, so it's no surprise that they are being faded. All right, so let's look at the FanDuel slate for a sec. See if there's any significant differences with where we go. Finally, a big Sims win. We'll take that. Okay, so sorting by ROI now, and remembering we never go higher than what? What, 65% seem about right? That's what I've been doing historically and feels right. And it's still too high for optimal percents. You never see that in Sims. It's probably more like 30 or 40. But for the guys who are 30 or 40, those are the lineups you'll be able to like guess. You know what I mean? Because some of the optimal percents are like 5, 10%, and they're guys that are never going to be in your pool. You know what I mean? So that's why 65, even though I know it's about twice probably what their actual optimal percent is. And you can't get everybody's optimal percent. I mean, I'm not 150 maxing. Maybe if you are. Yeah, Nick Richards still out. None of this is interesting. This is just a bog standard build. And yeah. Okay. John Collins is great still. Randall's great. A little better. Chris Paul, Coron, FanDuel, Gobert. Just a lot of Gobert. I'm never comfortable going more than like 50% Gobert, more than 50% Randall. Same thing with Nas Reed. I limit him to like 35% probably. Let's say 30% Nas Reed. Um, just because I want to make sure that the probabilities are correct for those guys. You know, there's 2 out of 3. So the sum of all of them should add up to about what? 66%. So what do we got here? We got Gobert, 50, Randall, so we're at 100. So let's say 122%. 133. Pretty close to my newly made up number. Okay. You see how kind of making stuff up as you go. That's just how it is. Biggs versus Charlotte. If you want to boost Duran, you can. I do a little bit. This is, after all, FanDuel. And one thing Duran likes to do is block. Do blocks. He's going to be playing Grant Williams. So he may wind up doing some blocks. But I think that does. Let's see on FanDuel, who am I fading? You know who I'm playing the same guys. Davion's a little better on FanDuel. Fading Brandon Miller on FanDuel. That's nice, since I'm going so hard on Brandon Miller on the other platform where he is much cheaper. Yep, that's what we'll do. Fade all these guys. Keldon's just a mid play. Suggs not getting enough minutes. Cade is now priced. That's that. We'll see how much that Cade. That's not a full fade. You know, I like Cade. I probably need to change around my yeah, my stars aren't right here on FanDuel, so I'll fix that for later. But for now, let me just leave you with you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Might as well be us. A couple different slates today, a couple different sites. Let's get it done.